Hey, it's James from 4x4 Earth here, and welcome to track 42 of the 4x4 Earth podcast. The new 2020 Jeep Gladiator with Pete Milosavleski.
Join James from 4x4earth.com as he learns all there is to know about four-wheel driving, camping, fishing, and getting out and exploring our great country on the 4x4 Earth podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. I've got to say, I'm pretty excited about today's guest to the show. We've got Pete Milosavleski from Jeep in the United States. He is the head designer for the all-new Jeep Gladiator coming out in 2020. And it's a Jeep Ute. So this is going to be a really exciting product. I think it's going to sell like hotcakes when it comes out to Australia. I personally can't wait for it. I think it's going to be a cracking vehicle. It could be my new four-wheel drive. So really excited to get the details from Pete about the whole process that they went through to design it and what it's going to look like when it gets out here. So let's get into the podcast now. Hey Pete, welcome to the show.
Thanks, James. Glad to be here. Really excited to be able to speak to you about the all-new Jeep Gladiator.
We're excited to hear about it. It's going to be awesome. What's your role? What's your story as far as the Jeep goes?
Sure. I'm the chief engineer for the all-new Jeep Gladiator. Been part of the program for about 2 years now, 2.5 years, and have the responsibility for the overall technical execution of the whole program. So it's been a lot of fun, as you can imagine, working on this an amazing product.
It sounds like a really cool job. Before we get to the Gladiator, what four-wheel drive do you drive now? Yeah,
so I've had a few four-wheel drives in my past, but the Jeep Wrangler, the JK, basically the Rubicon model, just taking that off-road, having a good time with the friends on the weekends. You know, just minor mods with our Mopar lift kit, 35-inch tires with the 2-inch lift. Nothing major, but we typically will have a lot of fun out in the different trails as we go wheeling. But by far, my favorite trail is the Rubicon Trail. Had the opportunity to do that a couple times, and it's just amazing out in Northern California.
Wow, that's definitely on my list of trails to one day get to and have a crack at, because the pictures look amazing. How long does it take to do?
Well, it can take up to 2 to 3 days if you're not being guided by a crew.
Yep.
If you're taking it slow, typically what most folks will do is they'll go out there, they'll have a good time, they'll go camping, have their equipment with them, and there's a couple of nice spots where you can pull off and camp for the evening. I would say usually a couple days to get through it. When we go with our Jeep Gladiator products and our Wrangler products, we'll typically get through there in a couple days.
Cool. What's the hairiest moment that you've had four-wheel driving, and what did you learn from it?
Oh, there's been a couple of, as you can imagine, especially as a Jeep engineer, we've had some, we kind of go to I'll call it the limit of off-roading and take our vehicles to the limit because we have to prove them out for our customers. But you learn the importance of picking the right line and finding that path so you get enough ground clearance through the different events. And then articulation is so critical in certain situations. And of course, having a great spotter and a great colleague or friend there with you to help you get through some of those precarious situations is critical. And then finally, having a backup rig there to help you out in case you do take it a little bit too far, being able to pull you out, or if you do run into those situations, just having somebody there to support you. Safety always first.
Yep. Alrighty. So the Jeep Gladiator, what was the thinking behind a Jeep pickup?
Well, the Jeep has a long, rich history of tough and dependable trucks. And with the midsize segment being as popular as it is currently, we felt it was just the right time to reintroduce it into this segment.
Where did the name come from?
The name, yeah, it's an interesting pick, isn't it? The Jeep offered the Gladiator nameplate starting back in 1963. And after some internal discussions, we decided that the name best reflects what today's truck represents. It represents that you can take you and your toys and your friends to places where others can't. And, interestingly enough, the Gladiator and the shielding and the underbody protection, it just speaks to how tough the truck is. We just took it out last week on a validation trip, and just the things that you can do to that truck without damaging the underbody is just amazing with all the shielding it has.
That's cool. What is the history of Jeep pickups then?
So it's interesting, people kind of forget about the rich history of Jeep and trucks. They've built tough, dependable trucks starting back in the 1940s with the Jeep pickup. That was later followed by the FC-150 and the FC-170 in the 50s and 60s. The Gladiator was built in the 60s all the way up through 1987. And then finally we went to a Jeep Comanche built in 86 through 1992. So we've been out of the market for 30 years. So people have forgotten that we do have a rich legacy of Jeep trucks.
I know it's a hugely anticipated vehicle in Australia because we love our pickups here.
Yeah, good, because we're excited to bring it to Australia at some point here soon.
Yeah. How does the design process go? So once you've made the decision that you're going to make a pickup, obviously I'm assuming that you started with the Wrangler as a base model. What sort of things did you need to think about? What sort of engineering needs to be done to be able to create a pickup?
The Jeep Gladiator uses the legacy of Jeep Wrangler off-road heritage. I mean, Gladiator had to be a Jeep and possess the capability that the brand is known for. But equally important was achieving the qualities that truck owners look for. So we have a competitive set here in North America as well as across the world, where we need to be a truck that meets all the market demands. Truck first and foremost. This includes the Gladiator's best-in-class towing and also 4x4 payload. So all around, the truck meets both on-road and off-road capabilities. It's done really well.
And so what's the sort of process that you take then to be able to come up with the end product? I mean, obviously you've got to put the tray on the back, but I'm assuming that there's a whole heap of other engineering type problems that you've got to work through to be able to make that happen. Do you want to just talk us through some of those sort of issues?
Sure. So, I think the tray, as you put it, or we call it the bed here, it was a 5-foot box, and coming up with that number was critical to us because our customers like to haul dirt bikes and ATVs. And so we did some market research to understand the size of the bed. We knew that throughout the entire process, we developed the off-road performance of it being a Jeep with, as I mentioned, the truck performance. So knowing that we had a 5-foot box and knowing that we had these off-road requirements, we wanted to maintain some of our clearances. We wanted to maintain the best-in-segment 43.6 degree approach angle. We wanted to have a best-in-segment departure angle of 26 degrees. And, managing that with the box and the wheelbase, because over the Wrangler, we did grow the wheelbase just a touch. But we found an optimal point, and that was our focus, was to find that right balance between off-roading as well as truck performance. Along the rear, we wanted to make this a great, comfortable, everyday driver. So we went to an all-new class-exclusive coil-link suspension with forward-facing shocks that really manages the loads and also manages the payload that the truck can carry. So that was, some of the thought process is just, although we're adding the tray, make sure that by adding the tray, we're not compromising either off-road performance nor the on-road performance.
Because in pickups, particularly in Australia, there's some of the designs are quite interesting because you can see that they've taken a pickup and then turned it into a four-wheel drive. The departure angle tends to be not that great for a lot of them, and they're the guys who are always dragging the back of their vehicle as they're getting down the bottom of the hill.
Yeah, that we were cognizant, or we were aware of that fact as we were developing, and we introduced a class-exclusive rear rock rail. So we have rock rails that go from wheel to wheel, but rearward of the rear wheel, we also have this newly developed rear rock rail that basically attaches to the frame and it protects the box sides from any damage. Along with that, we really focused on getting the right ground clearances. We're at 11 inches, and I apologize, I don't have all my metric numbers with me, but we have 11 inches of ground clearance with our 33-inch Falcon tires, which provides a best-in-segment rear departure angle of 26 degrees.
And just looking at the pictures of it, the actual rear of the box, that's actually higher than the than the rails for the main cabin, isn't it? Or is it? It looks like it in the photos.
No, I think and I'm just trying to picture what you're describing, but the box is sitting on the frame rail of the main cabin as well. I mean, there's a little bit of a kick up, I would say, that the box does sit on.
Okay. So how long is it?
It is 218 inches long, or about five. This one, I do know the number. It's about 5.5 meters. Gladiator is, I think overall we're very happy with the length. It provides great comfort for rear occupants while not compromising off-road performance.
Yep. So it's going to come out initially with a petrol engine, is that right?
That's correct. It's going to come out with our 3.6-liter Patrol Pentastar upgrade with an 8-speed automatic transmission. It provides 285 horse, 260 pound-feet of torque, and it's loaded with some fuel efficiency improvements that really make it a very efficient powertrain.
In the Australian market, it looks like it's got a fair bit more power than the average engine, so that'll be a good thing to see. Because the sad trend that we're seeing in Australia is smaller engines with less power. So it'll be good to have something with a few horses under the bonnet for a change.
When you guys get a chance to drive the vehicles, and hopefully you can come out and evaluate some of these Gladiators, you'll find that it's really nimble, easy to drive, and it's got great power for the package.
Yep. What other new features have been put into it?
Sure. So combining the traditional Jeep attributes with strong truck credentials, including the best-in-class towing that I mentioned and 4x4 payload, the Jeep Gladiator has unique vehicle capability of taking passengers and cargo anywhere. We feature an all-new high-strength steel frame, which utilizes advanced materials, and it's engineered to be lightweight yet stiff and durable. We lengthened the prop shaft, the fuel lines, the exhaust to accommodate the longer wheelbase. As I mentioned, the rear 5-link coil suspension design is exclusive to Gladiator and features 2 upper and lower forged steel control arms for longitudinal control and track bar for lateral axle control. The control arms are located underneath the frame rails, while the rear shocks are forward-facing to provide a consistent damping for a great, comfortable ride. The all-new rear occupant seat, it's all new and designed it's designed to optimize all the space that we have in that cab. It's pretty unique in the way that it flips down and also goes into the stadium position. It's lockable. It's got a bunch of cool features that our customers, I'm sure, are going to love.
Because, particularly when you go camping, space is always at a premium to be able to store things away, and so that's going to be good. And there's actually quite a bit of legroom in the back row, isn't there?
There is, and I can speak from personal experience. Driving in the backseat of the Gladiator, you can do it and spend hours back there. Relative to our segment, we have the best in segment rear legroom, and just running comparisons and doing drives, you can really see the difference in the comfort that you have. So as you take your friends on these long trips, you can easily take 4 and go on an expedition without any concern.
And there's going to be a camera, a front-facing camera, you can actually see to assist in picking the line. Yeah,
it's interesting. It's a cool feature. The forward-facing off-road camera is something we're introducing on the Jeep Gladiator. It's an excellent tool for our Jeep enthusiasts when they're off-roading. And again, speaking from personal experience, we were just in Moab, Utah this past weekend, doing some testing. And Moab, as you're making some of these climbs, as the vehicle's pointing up in the air near vertically, all you can see is the blue sky. And what the trail has these little marks that say, stay on this line or else you might go down this cliff or down this mountain edge. And it's nice and reassuring to be able to look at the camera and just point the vehicle down the middle of these lines while all you can see as a customer is the blue sky up above. Great feature.
It's a really clever feature, and it's one of those things that's kind of obvious, but no one's actually thought of it until now. I haven't seen anyone with anything like that. And as you said, when picking the line is really important. And I've always wondered how, particularly for new four-wheel drivers, and even then experienced people who get a bit mixed up sometimes with the line that they're picking, it's a very intuitive thing about how to pick the line when you can't actually see where the wheels are.
Yeah, it definitely provides that additional aid and helps the driver. In certain cases, you can't always have a spotter out there or someone kind of helping you through these events, and having those extra eyes down low really helps you finalize your decision on where to go.
Excellent. So when's it going to be available is probably the next big question.
Well, right now, Gladiator will arrive in Australia in 2020.
Okay, yep.
So right around the corner. We're excited for it to make its way there because it's really built for Australia too. I mean, you guys have the same types of environments that we have here in the U.S., and we've really developed it for all the markets. But, I think Australia really fits well with what we're trying to do here.
Well, it's a big Rubicon market here, and they do so well. And I think probably because off the showroom floor, they're one of the few four-wheel drives that's actually really, really capable. You don't need to do a lot of modifications to them to be able to take them anywhere that you want to go, pretty much. And they're one of the few four-wheel drives, I think, in Australia that actually come with tyres that you can go off-road in. A lot of I think nearly all of the others just come with road tyres these days.
Yeah, our Gladiator Rubicon will come with 33-inch Falcon all-terrain tires, or you can upgrade and pick the optional mud-terrain tire. They're both outstanding, but we've also developed the vehicle so that aftermarket, if our customers choose to do so, they can put up to a 35-inch tire, equip it with a 35-inch tire, and then also the 2-inch lift without any issues. So we've developed all of our clearances. You can put a 35-inch spare underneath. So we've thought through that because we know our Jeep customers like to customize.
Definitely, yes. Excellent. Well, thank you very much for your time today. And we've got a little bit of time to wait. Hopefully it won't be too long. And yeah, we're all really looking forward to it. So thanks for some insights into the Jeep Gladiator today.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And we're very excited for the Gladiator to come to Australia.
No worries. I think we are just as excited as well. It's going to be an epic vehicle.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you.
Thank you. So there you have it. Now you've got the inside running on what the new 2020 Jeep Gladiator is going to look like. Having owned a Wrangler Unlimited before, epic vehicles, perfect for taking the family off-road. Going to be really interesting to see what the Ute looks like because I think that's going to be the form factor that is going to really make it super popular. Going to be really interesting to see what it performs like when we take it off-road onto the tracks. Can't wait. Before you head off, check out the 4x4 Earth store. We've got t-shirts in there, stubby holders, hats. Get your 4x4 Earth merch. It helps us to keep the lights on for the 4x4 Earth podcast and the forum, which is Australia's largest free and independent four-wheel drive website. We're getting we're getting just under 250,000 visits a month now. So continuing to grow. Every month it's getting bigger and bigger, which is what we like to see. That's it. Hopefully I'll see you out on the track someday. Bye.
4x4earth.com is used by over 200,000 people every month to find great tracks, organise trips, and find out how to better enjoy exploring the great outdoors. There's over 1,000 tracks and 300 campsites ready for you to explore. So check out 4x4earth.com today and sign up to get access to the track information, ask questions, and meet other 4x4 Earthers. Membership is completely free. If you're looking for a good route, check out 4x4earth.com today.